The first thing you should know about my friend Andrew is that he believes in love in all its forms, whether we consult the ancient Greeks or the Taoists or science fiction or the poets or the Bible or forest-dwelling fairies. Love, it seems, it makes the world go round. The next thing you should know about Andrew is that he's a doer, an action man, a mover and a shaker, which is why he's marrying Delaney in September. Here in these crazy times, that's the kind of action we need to keep the world going round.
The first thing you should know about my friend Mrs. Filholm is that she stays up late. At least she used to when she was still performing comedy at bars and restaurants in front of people instead of in her living room in front of her Macintosh book professional. By contrast, I've been more of an early-to-bed, early-to-rise guy, and it seems like my evening is winding down just as Mrs. Filholm is hitting her stride. I know this to be true because I sometimes wake up to messages and questions that must have been sent just after I went to sleep. The next thing you should know is that I don't know how she does it. I stayed up late last night, and this morning I just can't even. I'm pooped, Mrs. Filholm. Welcome to Half My Age, a weekly show in which a 25-year-old adult and a 50-year-old child help each other make sense of the world.
You are? Why did you stay up late?
I stayed up late for work. I had a thing. I promised it was going to be done over the weekend, and today is Thursday, and it's still not quite done.
Over last weekend you promised it?
Yeah, I was going to have it ready by Monday, and now it's Thursday, so it's 4 days late.
I just said that you were a doer, an action man, a mover, and a shaker. I did not expect to say that you were doing anything 4 days late, Mr. Bridges. That's really shocking.
I feel so bad about it.
What's happened to you here in the apocalypse? I bet you do. You didn't turn in papers late in high school.
And I certainly did not. Well, I may have turned in the occasional paper late, but I had built up so much credit that it didn't matter. With the teacher, I could say, hey, I didn't quite get to this yesterday, to which they would respond, oh, no problem.
Oh, 100%. You built up credit both in terms of, right, points and extra credit so that a missing or late paper also wouldn't hurt you. And you had built up personal credit with the teacher. Yeah, I think we've talked about it on the program. Absolutely. And it was interesting as a teacher to realize how much that can be true when you have a student who, and I don't mean it's charming, when you have a student who is so reliable all the time, they can come and say, I think you lost my paper. And even though teachers never freaking lose papers, you kind of go, yeah, I might have done that, Andrew. I might have lost your paper. Yeah, that's where. Okay, what is it the end times, though? What happened now? Why are you late? And of course you feel bad. What happened?
The classic problem in software, but all large projects in general. I misestimated. Right, I've been working on this thing for a little bit over a year, and we were going to make a pretty big change, and I just didn't account for all of the different ways that this would affect all of the other systems, because everything is a spider web that's interconnected, and if you pull one thread, it causes a ripple throughout the whole web, and it's just it's not a mess, but it's more complicated than I expected. I bit off more than I could chew. I grossly underestimated, and it bit me in the butt.
Did you finished the job last night by staying up late?
I would say 95% finished. I still have some things to do after I get off of this podcast.
That was my next question, do we need to delay the recording of this dumb podcast so you can finish that shit and not be worried about it?
Nope. I'm in a good position. I think my boss is understanding, my client. So I think we're all good here.
Great. I secretly was hoping you would say yes, because can you hear my voice today? Wow. I did it again, Andrew. I haven't spoken a word, and I knew we were recording, and I've been puttering around the house. I just forgot to warm up my voice. Sorry, everybody.
How long would you say it takes you to warm up your voice? Because I roll out of bed. I do like that hacking thing in the shower, and then I'm good to go, right? That's we're ready.
Well, I haven't done the shower. That could help. If I had taken a shower, I'd be fine. Shower can be my vocal warm-up.
That's how I get going during the day. I have a cup of coffee, and then I have a shower. That's my routine.
That is not my routine. because I
But
think
it could
showering
be.
is dumb. But that is enough of a vocal warm up. If I had gone today, I almost got up and just went for a quick 20-minute walk. And I thought
Mm.
I'll save my walk for later. But even that, any amount of I did get up and water my yard, but that's not enough, evidently. Because seriously, it's getting better as we talk, see? But gosh, the first time I shouldn't do that because it's our cold open and it sounds so rough.
That's all right. I'm sure our listeners will forgive you.
No, I know they will. Okay, well, great. Okay, so now you feel crazy in the morning. You feel gross after you stayed up late. Yeah, tell me about it.
Just a little sleepy, a
Mm-hmm.
little I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I do feel much better today than I did yesterday because yesterday this thing was hanging over me. And
Mm.
today I feel like I'm almost there. Basically now what I've got is I need to take this thing that I've built and I need to put it into the product that's live that we have people using during the day.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some risk around that. If I mess up this next part, if I don't stick the landing, the thing's going to be broken and people might notice. But I mean, so much other stuff went into getting to this point where I'm ready to stick the landing.
Is that
I
right?
feel like it's all smooth sailing from here.
You're feeling confident about your performance and the live launch?
Correct.
I'm so excited for you. Do you want to tell us more about that product or not?
Not currently.
All right. I will tell you that something you just said hit me, which was, I think, relevant to so many things. And we all know this, but okay. It comes to do with procrastination. It comes to the topic of procrastination, which is a favorite topic of mine and Merlin Mann's. Not a favorite, but a recurring topic. Like, why is it that we put things off, right? I have a lot of thoughts on that. And maybe the sister topic of the pit in my stomach when I know there is something that needs to be done and for whatever reason, I don't want to do it or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And the pit in my stomach when something is looming. Do you know what I mean? I've realized it lately because none of the tasks in my life here in the apocalypse are that urgent, right? I mean, I don't have much going on still. But even I have just noticed it. So therefore, if life slows down as it has, if there is even just one task I have to do, like a conversation I have to have with somebody, which isn't super pleasant, but also not that big a deal. Uh, Even a phone conversation with someone I'm looking forward to, but it's on my schedule, and until that is over, I can't XYZ or think about something else. Anyway, it's just so funny. Like the low level, it works very much like anxiety. The low level that anxiety that then disappears like a hot air balloon lifting off into the sky when I do the thing.
Right.
So obvious, but I think that honestly, my life has slowed down a lot, right? A lot. The number of deadlines I have, the number of commitments I have right now in the COVID-19 world are far fewer than I've ever had before, and I've been seeing a lot of other people like me, hyper creatives and probably hyper whatever you want to call it, people. We're not doing okay because we're not making money. We're not, we're still in this kind of like, holy crap. But it certainly has forced us to slow the heck down. And then I find, okay, so then technically less daily stress, less stress like that, less deadline stress, right? But then
Mm-hmm.
my body, I'm saying, kind of like naturally does that, and I got to get rid of it. Like, I'm not kidding. It's like a phone call with somebody I'm looking forward to talking to, but it's just like it's on the schedule versus being organic or something, and it's just on my mind all day and it's like, and maybe we have a loose thing, like I'll call you between 4 and 5, for example. And then, but if it's 4 o'clock and I know I'm not ready to make that call or whatever, or it might come, golly, it's like I can manufacture the same amount of anxiety and stress around a real deadline, but also the release. Like I said, the better part is the release about something when it's gone, because maybe I don't actually actively experience the anxiety about that thing, or maybe not consciously, but there's just something churning, and then I just do the thing, and it's like, oh, thank God.
I've noticed a lot of that. Maybe it's not specifically tied to deadlines, but just the number of tasks, the
Yeah,
length of my to-do list.
yeah.
Um, and I feel like I've robbed myself of the satisfaction of completion. I cross one thing off my list, but then I still have 12 others that I have to get done. This for the last couple weeks or so, my task list has been building and building and building, and I've been living in that state of constant anxiety about just the length of my task list. So I'll get through one, and I suppose I'll get a small amount of relief, only to be replaced by a new wave of anxiety when I look at things again. So I understand the things the feelings you're describing, but I'm having a different experience right now in my quarantine.
Sure. And is that the task list for work stuff?
It's the task list for work stuff. The other thing that's been on my plate for months is my house that was for rent. That was really hanging over my head. There were a lot of things to do for that, just including dumb stuff like going and buying new smoke detectors and installing the smoke detectors.
Yes, sir.
There's so many things like that. The smoke detectors, the curtain rods, the piece of furniture I left in the basement, like all of these little things. And had I really set my mind to it, or had a hard deadline, I suppose I would have been forced to take care of those a lot sooner. But instead, I just let them hang over my head for months.
Like, were you sort of piecemeal doing them as you were also doing the other tasks of, like, putting it on the market? I mean, if we call it the market, and assessing candidates. And I mean, then you even talked about it, like Zoom, looking at it versus live. I mean, was it kind of that, like, you knew you had this task list, but rather it's not something you just go over, or maybe you could have done, but you didn't go over, finish in a weekend and go boom. It was kind of that ongoing little task list.
That's what I should have done. I should have gone over, finished it in a weekend, boom. But instead, I'd have a showing, and then I'd try to do, maybe one of those small things on the task list. Maybe I'd try to...
Oh, while you were at the live showing.
Yeah, before or after.
Sure.
I just, every time I'm over there, do some kind of little something to make it a little bit better than it was yesterday. But anyways, moral of the story, there's a happy ending to this, which is that I put in a tenant over the weekend.
Yay.
They called me on Saturday, and they actually moved in on Monday. So it was a crazy busy weekend. I suppose part of the reason I didn't hit that deadline for work was because my total weekend was consumed by getting this house ready and getting the documents ready. And I don't know, it was my first time leasing this house to a stranger, not a family member. So all of the paperwork had to be in place and be correct. It was my first time doing all that. And now I feel a sense of relief, I suppose. That actually is a big headache that's been lifted, a big weight. But now I'm looking at this work stuff, and I'm like, well, shoot, I still have these 40 other things on the back burner that need to get done as well. Like Delaney and I, we've been looking at each other like, I don't know, twice a day, every day. And we just say, we need a vacation.
Oh, yeah. Huh.
She's been crazy busy too, because the courts, even though they're operating it, and under different rules and stuff because of the coronavirus, divorces have not slowed down. If anything, Delaney's workload has increased.
Delaney is a paralegal for a divorce attorney. Is that the best way to describe it for our listeners and readers at home?
Correct. Not just divorce. It's kind of all of family law.
Family law. Okay.
Divorce is custody of children.
I remember hearing very early on, before our country shut down, that right when one particular, some area in China had been lifted, the total shutdown had been lifted, and that the first, one of the immediate effects was filings for divorces. And I went,
I believe it.
Yeah.
There was speculation within their firm that people getting a $1,200 stimulus check might be the impetus they need to finally go and call the attorney.
Oh, because they have their own $1,200?
Because they have $1,200 they didn't have previously,
And seriously, it's yours. Do you know what I mean? Like, mine would have been mine, and my ex's would have been mine. I mean, for real. Sure. It's my own money here, and I can do whatever the heck I want with it. And oh golly,
including separate myself from
correct. You. Dude. I mean, I've obviously been telling jokes about it. I did do the Zoom show on Saturday night, which did not suck as much as I thought it would, and I've been telling jokes about that. And my premise on Saturday night was that I'm winning the apocalypse. Because look at all of the reasons. Have the bidet, so when the toilet paper wars happened, did not affect me. I cut my own hair, so salons being shut down doesn't bother me. I'm single, so there's nobody here to murder. Stuff like that.
There's nobody here to murder. That sounds like more of a con than a pro.
Oh, really?
You need to have someone you can murder, someone
Ooh,
you can yell at,
I got
someone
the
you can
squirrels.
take it out on.
No, different. No. We got the squirrels. By the way, can I give you an update on the squirrels?
Yeah, please.
Can you tell how my sound quality is now that we're recording via hijack?
Yeah, I noticed it sounded better. Did you?
Oh, it totally did on the thing. But I mean, right now, live, like, you can hear me? Yeah, of course you can. I just wondered.
So nothing, when we're recording, I'm still hearing your Skype sound, so there's no difference on my end.
What was I going to say there? Oh, murders. Oh, yes.
Murder the squirrels.
Oh, yes, murders. Okay, so remember we trapped the 5 squirrels, and the tree guy took them to a magical, mystical tour where they can
Del
eat...
Boca Vista.
Yep, Del Boca Vista phase squirrel. So then I want to tell you that it has actually worked. I cannot believe how many fewer squirrels I see in a day. And I have been, once again, working in that garden. And all my plants are in, not all my, I got to go get a couple more. But I mean, like, everything I have is in the ground. We mostly survived the Mother's Day frost. I don't know. My basil looks a little sad. I think it really did hurt its feelings. And then there was some hail, and then there was some wind. It's been crazy. Anyway, so I'll see like 1 squirrel a week. Huge difference. I mean, we were seriously being just constantly invaded. Sitting in here for an hour recording, I would hear 3 or 4 squirrels tromp across the roof from my house to Donna's. Okay, but one of the secrets is that somebody on this block, and I cannot reveal who, but if you saw this person, you would love it because it doesn't seem like the person you would expect, is shooting those squirrels dead. I asked her, what do you do with them? She goes, I double bag them. Throws them in the garbage. It's not Rafiki, I'm just going to tell you that. Anyway, all it takes is a pellet gun. I have a neighbor who's shooting the squirrels. Then, may have told you, on next door.
Those are so resilient, those squirrels. They're facing a multi-fronted war.
Yep.
And somehow they continue to keep coming back.
They sure do. And I think my neighbor says she has killed 9 of them.
Wow.
But then, you want to talk about many-fronted, we saw next door. I was on a walk in the park, which I do, and there I saw some Cheerios on the ground, like in a couple places. I went, oh, some baby threw their, Cheerios out of their stroller, because moms take Cheerios and, baby food, toddler snack food. Then somebody posted on Nextdoor, which someone else told me about, because I'm not looking at Nextdoor if I can avoid it ever. Those were poison Cheerios. And then I guess the next day, people saw dead squirrels lying all around the park.
Oh, wow.
I so wish I had seen that.
That's savage. Chemical warfare.
Savage. So someone in our neighborhood, I should have looked at that next door too. I just heard about it from other neighbors that like people were like, oh, we're on a walk in the park and there were dead squirrels everywhere. And then the woman who shoots the squirrels on my block said, I went to the park that day looking, hoping I could see some dead squirrels. Like, isn't that sick? We are on this united front. We're like, we want to see them brought down and we want their heads on a platter. Sick. But anyway, it's really, really been great how fewer, really, honest to God, I can't believe the difference. And I have my strawberries coming in right now. Mm-hmm. I have a little bit of wire put over them. I haven't done a super good job. But I mean, last year, I think I got 3 strawberries altogether. The squirrels got them as soon as they showed up, or the birds. And now I have some fruit there coming in. Backyard is getting good. It has been.
I got to ask, returning to the squirrel thing, what happened to your squirrely friend, the squirrel man?
What do you mean what happened to him? He brought me some mulch. I don't believe there's going to be a podcast made. A lot of people have a lot of ideas, if you know what I mean.
I see. But is he involved in this most recent round of squirrel genocide?
No. He would not approve of any of that. No.
Right.
We don't tell him that.
Them and he's taking them to Del Boca Vista.
Yeah, we're not going to tell him that. We're not going to tell him that. No. That's a secret here amongst the ladies of the neighborhood.
Oh, that sounds so much like Hot Fuzz. Have you ever seen Hot Fuzz?
Jeez. What is it? Maybe.
It's a movie.
Yeah.
I don't know the actor's name, but anyways, it's set in this rural English village.
Oh my
God!
No, I have not seen it.
The village is like picturesque, and every year they win Village of the Year, and everybody waves to everybody. And then slowly throughout the movie, people get murdered and they get murdered and they get murdered, and you find out that it's all of the nice housewives and kind old grandfatherly figures all doing it so that they can keep their village nice, so that they can win Village of the Year.
Oh my God, that sounds so funny.
It's you and your gang of it's the ladies auxiliary killing the squirrels. So
is
that
it funny? It's Simon Pegg and Nick
It is
Frost.
pretty funny,
and it's English. Wow,
it's not an English movie. I think it's an American movie.
Okay,
well, I don't know.
Set in the United Kingdom.
Correct.
It debuted in the United Kingdom in 2007.
It probably is an English movie. I'm sure I lied.
No, I don't know. It doesn't matter. Okay, that looks good. And my first thought is, I want to watch that. I am still so now I'm actually building up content that I want to watch, because in the current times I'm just meeting other people like that, like a neighbor who shoots squirrels. I mean, like I'm running into different people in the world than I have had somehow. I don't know. And plus anyway, I'm not going to watch any content. I never sit and watch a movie still. However, I have been eating.
You've been eating?
Yeah.
What have you been eating? Anything particularly tasty?
Yeah. So my Reiki therapist, a couple weeks ago, I think we talked about it. Maybe we didn't. Was like, that was my task, was to, we've discussed it on the program. I don't like eating. It is definitely it is a form of my anxiety for sure, where it's bad. I mean, and I've been looking into this. I mean, and I have another friend who honestly shares this with me, and that helps because I feel understood. Most of the world looks at me like, what the hell are you talking about? Especially when I'm stressed, especially when I'm depressed, especially in the apocalypse times. I'm eating more. Everybody's posting how much weight they've gained in the apocalypse. I've lost weight and I'm tan and my muscles I'm looking pretty good. But it's not for happiness. It's the opposite. It's the vagus nerve connection between it's like the fight, flight, or freeze, primitive instinct. So that like lizard brain of mine and ours goes, oh, you're not gonna swallow any food right now. It's like between my brain and my stomach, there's this like, oh, no, you're low-key anxious and this is not the time to, have cake. This is the time to get moving it really...
It's like the quarantine blockade. I'm stuck on these like war metaphors, this multi-fronted war.
Bring it. That's a beautiful, run that metaphor all day long. Do it.
You've got a quarantine blockade between your brain and your stomach.
Yep, and it's that vagus nerve, connection. And so in my Reiki therapy, we've been discussing like what that is and breathing into it. I mean, and all of the things. I understand. I can understand like on a kind of psychic level how that might be. Hey, Lisa, you need to nourish yourself. Hey, why don't you think you're worth being nourished? I don't know. There's a lot going on there, and I know it, right? I've always said, I don't want to take the time to eat. It's so annoying to me. It is. That's a true story. But when it gets to the point where I know I have to eat and there's so many things I want to do in the world and I know I need nourishment, part of the problem is that I know certain things aren't good for me. Like I really have learned the hard way and the easy way over my adult life that sugar, I'm an inflamed person and sugar and carbs are really honestly bad for me.
I'm an inflamed
person.
I am.
That's a real thing, man. That's a real thing. We've talked about it. And the yogi approach to it is your prana runs hot and you're always inflamed. Every sort of construct has a way of looking at it. But I'm inflamed, I'm hot, la la la. And I know that sugar and carbs absolutely contribute to that. So some of the time when I'm hungry, it's like I know I need to eat intellectually. I need to feed my body because I want to keep going, digging in the yard or going paddleboarding or writing a thing. So I know I need my brain to work for me. Okay, let's have a thing to eat. The only thing that seems edible is something that isn't good to me. So I go, well, I can't have that because I'll honestly just feel worse. So then I don't eat anything. Or then I shove a handful of nuts into my mouth and go, this is good. You can do this. Nuts are edible. Nuts are fine. That's good for your body. And then I chew it and I can't make myself swallow it. That's messed up. That's not normal. Mm-hmm. So I had been in that kind of place. So we're doing all of this work on like, how can I concentrate on feeding myself and approaches to take to it. Like, I mean, one thing the guy pointed out is I would never, ever, ever let a child of any kind, mine or anyone else's, starve. I would take better care of anyone that I am taking care of myself. It was also weird to look at this and go, oh my God, my closets, my cupboards in my kitchen are full of food for other people. There's stuff that George likes in case he comes over. There's stuff that some of my comic friends like when they come over. There's, chips and dip, and just in case there's a party, which is not a party anymore in the apocalypse, but my kitchen is full of food that's not for me, that I actually won't eat. And if there's candy in my cupboard, I don't eat it. It's not for me. But somebody might like it. That's a little messed up. So anyway, this approach was like, why don't we look at what it is I like to eat? And I've been trying to go to the grocery store and going, okay, what is it? And can you take the effort to feed yourself? And look, new chickens from the awesome neighbors, new eggs. So now is the time of good eating, right? Mostly it ends up I eat a lot of avocados. Which is fine. That seems good. And
I've been eating avocados too. Avocados and eggs both.
Nice. I think my mom told me yesterday about a deal on avocados. But of course, I didn't listen because I will go to the one grocery store I have to go to. Also, I've avoided that. This doesn't matter. Okay. Then I have a friend who pointed out to me, kind of a new friend, that there is a restaurant in Aurora, Colorado. In fact, there are 2 branches of it. That's Hawaiian food. And I mean...
What's it called? Can you name and shame?
L&L, as in Lisa and Lane.
L&L Hawaiian Barbeque, huh?
Yes. Oh no. This shit. I just had spam musubi for breakfast right now today. I cannot believe it. It's the food of my childhood, and it is authentic. It's not like tiki bar, like it's not precious, it's not delightful, it's not some kind of cheeky, kitschy Polynesian culture in the 60s. There's a bar in Denver called Adrift that I absolutely adore, but it's all of that. And it's a poo-poo platter, but it's, modernized version of things, and there's a chef there making things, and it's very, very precious and fun. This shit is street food, practically, from Hawaii. Oh my God, it's everything. And of course, you can do takeout. I've had takeout from them, I believe, 3 times in the past week.
That sounds pretty good.
I've been eating.
I'm looking at their menu right now. It looks delicious. I love a spam musubi. I'm also really intrigued by the Loco Moco, just because of the name.
That's what this friend of mine brought. The comedy boys who have been helping me, you know what they did? It is so good. They have finished my above ground planters, like my raised beds where my tomatoes go. We talked about this. They were starting to bow out and crack, and I was really worried, like, I'm going to lose them. They did such a beautiful job of reinforcing them, and they look nice. I was about to wrap a ratchet strap or reinforce something and do really something janky. These boys have done such a good job. It took them a while because they take a lot of breaks and they're hungover a lot. So anyway, yesterday they came over. They were like, we're hungover and we want to play with saws. So they came over early-ish in the morning, and we got them Moco Loco because I was going to get some of the L&L food to take up to my mother.
Savory hamburger patties over rice topped with brown gravy and 2 fresh fried eggs.
As my friend O'Shea said, he said it's like Hawaiian shit on a shingle. So good, bro. What else do you see in there? You seeing the Lau pork? You seeing
Lau pork? I do not.
How do you know about
pork.
spam musubi? You've never been to Hawaii.
My mother, one of her best friends, owns a Japanese grocery store.
Right.
So every year they also host a Buddhist New Year's party, and there's always spam musubi there, along with a just amazing spread of homemade sushi.
Yep.
I've eaten a lot of spam musubi for a Colorado boy.
That's right. I remember you have that Japanese connection. Oy, so good. So anyway, that was great. They have haupia, which is this coconut pudding. Yesterday I took some of that to my mom. Again, I took a tiny little taste because sugar destroys me. But that's pretty. It's so familiar food from my childhood. So, whatever. So this is a good new friend who introduced me to Hawaiian food.
There's one by my house, too. There's 2 in Aurora. One's pretty close to me.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. It's the nicer one, too. That one's the nicer one. I've seen pictures of that one. And the one I'm going, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's nice. It's like, it feels like you are in Hawaii. I mean, it is so cool. Yeah, you should check it out. And this friend of mine delivered that food to me and my comedy boys and for my mother yesterday. So that's a pretty good friend, man.
That is a good friend.
Yep. So I've been eating, and I'm pretty sure you can start to show it because I think I'm fattening up. Don't like that. But on the other hand,
that's good. You'll get a better price at market when we go to sell you.
Oh God, I know it might come to that. Well, my thighs are looking pretty nice and meaty. I think it'd be good eating. I think I'd be good eating right now. Even my shoulders, I think that would be a good roast. It's a big arm. It's a big arm. That's a ham hock.
There's a television show I enjoy. It's called Feasting on Asphalt. It's hosted by Alton Brown, and he's visiting these restaurants across the country. And he goes to this place where in the South where they make biscuits, and they sell some crazy number of biscuits a day. And the lady back there, he's commenting on the musculature of her arm, and he says anywhere else that would be a ham, and it's the most like off-color comment that was probably ever on TV, but it's so funny. And anytime anyone starts talking about like a limb with a lot of meat on it, I can't help but think anywhere else that would be a ham.
God, well, I'm looking at I just called it a ham hock. I'm now looking at my upper arm. What is that called? Bicep? Yep. I'm now thinking of Amy Schumer's joke that I heard her tell live at Comedy Cellar in LA. And she points to her upper arm, this reads as a thigh. And that's how I feel. I'm a very thick little girl, and that reads like a thigh in most cultures. But it's just my arm. Anyway, so I feel like I've been getting fit. I've been walking a lot, still doing some sidewalk chalk. I have a vision for this one installation. It's going to happen, but it's like ridiculous. And I found a place. We'll talk about that if it happens. That's like a probably multi-hour project I have in mind. And there is part of me now that is honestly going, okay, Lisa, seriously, you can direct your attention toward other things. You're not so desperate as all you have is sidewalk chalk. But there it is.
Speaking of sidewalk chalk, I've got a quick question.
All right.
Did you post one, or did you make one that says it's a strange world for now, but still a beautiful one?
Nope.
Okay. There's a reporter for, I think she works for the Colorado Sun, and she posted it, and I couldn't help but wonder if it was you.
Nope. No, and there's other people doing that. I mean, that's the funny thing is people are like, oh my God, you started a thing. No, I didn't. I know.
Or the Denver Post, not the Colorado Sun.
That sounds like a good one. No, anyway. Nope, not that. So, but I have been paddleboarding. I have been taking one at a time Colorado comics with me to paddleboard. One at a time. There's
How's that
distance.
going?
We're out of doors. So great.
Are they strong swimmers?
Depends. The ones I've taken so far, not a problem, right? There's nobody who's afraid of it or where there's anything risky. They've done great. As you know, it's not hard. Found a new reservoir to go to that I'm really digging. And no, the funny thing is I was just taking a couple of friends and I post pictures of them paddleboarding with like my eye in the picture because nobody takes pictures of mommy. I made one of them take some pictures the other day. They're not good, but I'm like, could you prove that I'm here? Because guess what? I'm the one hauling all of the shit and doing all of the things. And then there's beautiful pictures of them frolicking on the water. I'm just so annoyed. Take a picture of mommy. No, anyway, it's been really fun. And then other comics are like hitting me up.
Is that something you're doing now? You're now referring to yourself in the third person as mommy?
No, it just is that. No, it's just that
like
memory.
Like a creepy guy. No. Call me daddy.
No. No, I'm just saying that like that's a familiar thing from being a mom is that there are pictures of every mother will know what I'm talking about. There are pictures of all of the children, daddy holding the children, granddad holding the children, all this stuff. No one takes a picture of mommy. I mean, it's like we weren't there in the freaking, family upbringing. That's a typical thing, Andrew. And don't be that guy. Take pictures of your wife with your babies and take pictures of her alone over the years because she's beautiful. No one takes pictures of the mom. And that's how it feels in comedy because I am known for taking really beautiful pictures of people and like taping their sets to hand to them and like, oh, I captured this moment of you doing something awesome. And it became a thing. Like people would even reach out to me. Can you take a picture of me when I'm doing my set? Your pictures are so good. I'm like, yes, I can. Could someone fucking take a picture of mommy? She's here too. No, I'm not referring to myself in the third person.
The curse of the photographer, Mrs. Filholm.
Okay, whatever. I'm not a photographer. Anyway, so we've been frolicking in the water and it's been great. And I found I went to Cherry Creek Reservoir on Sunday at 3:00, which I know is a no-no at 3:00 on a Sunday ever. But I went with George to get his tattoo, as we discussed.
Yeah, how'd that turn out? Do we have some follow-up there?
Great. Oh, he loves it. It's great. The only follow-up is that the next day his father went and got a tattoo. What?
It's a family affair.
Alrighty.
Do you know what his tattoo is of?
Sure do.
Is it also Star Wars?
No. No, I'm not going to talk about it. He didn't give me consent to say it. It's a conversation starter piece, though, like you discussed last week. It is a conversation. It's asked me about this tattoo. It's just interesting because that's my ex-husband, and he never once ever expressed interest in getting a tattoo. But, I'm glad he's changing and moving and growing. Family affair. The funny thing is that I sent pictures of George getting his tattoo to the family, Facebook thing, which is the easiest way because with boy in France, that seems to be the best way to get with Augie. And I didn't see any response to it. And the next day, Tal posted a picture of his tattoo, and Augie wrote, "What is going on?" He's in France. I'm sure they've talked about it. Anyway, so we went to Cherry Creek Reservoir at 3 o'clock, and access denied. Not only was it the crazy busy long lines that we're used to in the summer, the rangers were saying, at capacity, we're not opening it. Everybody get out of here. And then did you see they shut down the beaches at state parks like that, much like the governor of California did? Yeah, you can't go to the beach at Cherry Creek State Park. I believe you can still go boating and paddleboarding and stuff, but people were doing the thing, hanging on the beaches in close proximity and breaking the rules, and it freaked people out. So we couldn't get into Cherry Creek State Park. Also, that was a moment interesting. In the past week since we have spoken, I have noticed this more and more. Holy shit, people are being mean. I believe we went from this place where everybody's being very gentle and kind to each other out there. I don't know because I didn't go out in quarantine really, but that was my understanding, is that people were being very generous with each other. And oh my gosh, I saw these poor park rangers. They were telling people, you can't turn in here, right? Because we're at capacity. Now, not their fault, but they didn't have a big sign that said that. There wasn't a banner on the website, which there 100% should have been, because we were all checking it in our cars. You're like, what the hell's going on here? If there was just a sign that said closed, go home, it would have been better. But of course, what they do is they stick 2 human beings there in their park ranger outfits and their masks, directing car by car by car, explaining to each car who wants to go in there why they can't go in there and why they're not special. And it was just, and so what I did is I went over and parked in the parking lot because I could see that this was, and whatever, it was just like I got into the parking lot instead of across from the lake, instead of being in this long line, and I just zoomed over there, and then I walked across the street and asked the guy who was not actively directing traffic. Also, I know what I look like, and this is helpful. I just went, excuse me, what's going on? And he told me, this is it. We're at capacity for the day. There's no waiting list. We're shutting it down for the day. And then he thanked me for not being a jerk about the way I asked him. And I went, wow, low bar. All I did was, excuse me, can I ask you a question? Holy crap. It was so awful. And Andrew, the visual of it, right? These people in nice vehicles with their bikinis on and their hair in, messy buns and their shirts off, and they've got paddleboards strapped to their car. They got floaty devices. Everybody's just going there to have 100% privileged fun. You're going to get cold water and, believe me, it's my favorite fun. I was there too. But then the freaking anger about you not getting access to it because of a reason that serves the greater society and not them. Wowza. Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. I know that people are angry for sure, and there's nothing worse than waiting in line only to get to the front of the line and realize that you just waited for to get turned around.
Well, it's a bummer what you just described, but there are things worse than that, Andrew. There are things worse than that.
Of course there are. Right? There are people starving in wherever. There's always something worse. And I do agree. I have seen a lot more frustration and anger out in the world. Which is only a sign of being frustrated and cooped up and
exactly right. No, I know, I get it.
Like
but
it's all understandable, I think.
It is, but here's the other thing I want to tell you. My friend who works at Costco, he's told me, at first it went from, hey, thanks for being the heroes, right? And we've known that. That's like the grocery workers, essential worker. Thanks for the Costco workers, knowing that many of the people currently working at Costco are temporary workers. They are there because they lost other jobs. They are there making it happen for themselves and all of us. And he has described how awful it has gotten, how very, very rude people are. I mean, he's a comedian, so he tells jokes about it like, hey, I think I've said it on the program, hey, you know that your Costco membership is not a country club membership, right? I mean, still in this day when and he's describing it from the Costco workers' perspective, these are people who now are getting more than 40 hours a week. They are known to be exposed to COVID. They know that. They know that in their departments there have been people tested and gone home sick. They are there they feel the responsibility for keeping people safe because, of course, people at Costco are not respecting the rules that Costco has promised to observe. So the workers are standing there going, please put your card on that X versus that X. Please don't run your cards. You know what I mean? They are doing their jobs. And my friend says, you can't believe the attitude has changed. I mean, people are so mean and so angry, including even on simple levels, like they take their masks off to say to the checkout people, what, not even a smile today? And then the checkout people do the only thing they're allowed to do at work, which is to say, sir, please replace your mask. And then he yells at them because they're not smiling enough. I have also heard from friends going, gosh, the people at Costco have gotten so rude. I mean, I've heard it from both sides, and it's like, this is kind of killing me. I mean, I get it, what it comes from, what you said. I get that it's getting hot. We've all been cooped up. The world is at this level of anxiety, DTT. But I am, boy, oh boy, oh boy. I thought that there's a lot of sentiment out there that we're getting better. We're in this together. We're rising up. No, we're not. If people are getting uglier and grosser. It's freaking me. It's gross. I mean, it's bananas. I just can't believe how rude people are. Obviously, every single one of us human beings, we've waited in line. We want to go into the lake. You can't imagine how disappointed I was. I wanted to jump into cold water. It's all I have. But to know it's not the fault of the park ranger there directing traffic. I mean, we know that.
Yeah,
but
people always, since the dawn of man, have always taken their aggressions, their unrelated aggressions, out on people who did not cause those aggressions.
Yeah, it's
right?
Don't shoot the messenger. Yeah, I know. I honest to God think that right now there is a sentiment in the world, at least according to like the people who are making podcasts for 2020 graduates, that this is the time to be kinder and gentler and get, that this could be a new level of consciousness for the human race. I don't think so at all.
I like to think of this sort of thing. So when I was working at my last job, we hired a consultant, and he was constantly talking about the knothole, like in a piece of wood when you're carving. Everything we did that was a struggle right now was a knothole. We'd get through the knot, and then eventually it'd be smooth sailing on the other side of the knot. And I think right now we're adjusting to different rules. We're adjusting to okay, you can go outside, but you got to do all these different things. Like everything is unclear as ever. But now with the, I don't know, I guess now there's the expectation that things are going to be more like they used to be before quarantine than they were during the quarantine. But so there's this adjustment period that we're going through right now.
Oh boy,
and
howdy.
I think with that comes the frustration and the aggression. Meanwhile, you still have unemployment still going up. There's 36 million people unemployed. I can see the time is ripe for people to be frustrated, agitated, irritated, anxious. There's not a lot of things other than me renting my house that people can get behind and celebrate.
I know it. No, I mean, I do get it. And I, as always, I appreciate the people who are trying. Yeah, you're right. It's not helping. Huh. I know all of that, right? And it's been 9 weeks now for even us who have been behind it. Why can't people understand that? Whatever. I'm disappointed that people can't be nicer. I really am.
Why can't everybody love everybody?
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit.
I don't know.
A little bit. But anyway, on that note, oh no, I know it's so confusing about, you're right. And I mean, all the judging that's out there, and I'm getting survey after survey. I just got one right now. It's not a survey. It's a question about an event that I'm booked for in September. And they're saying, we know the possibility of September things is like your wedding, iffy, but we either have to cancel or hit the gas. And one of the things we're looking at now is will our speakers be willing to come? And I'm getting a lot of those surveys. If we did this, would you be willing to come? And I go, I think so, but I still don't know. Right? It's the same question from 2 months ago. Am I being a hero by stimulating the economy and getting back to the things I do? Or am I being an asshole by not shutting it down appropriately? The judging, right? And I do it. I see people like, why aren't you wearing a mask, or XYZ? Or why are you going out and buying a dog bed at Costco when you could stay at home? But I mean, other people are doing it to me. Yeah. I guess I'm a little bit, I'm not surprised. Everything sucks. But it sucks to me right now that we're not, people have been saying it's this time to come together, and I do not think that's happening. It's like I've been saying, we're all in the same storm, but we're not in the same boat. And for a while, I felt like there was more sort of benevolent feeling, and now it's gone, and it's hot, and it's icky. Right? Yep, there it is.
I don't know.
Yep.
This too shall pass, Just like anything, we'll get through the knothole. We'll get through.
Oh yeah, can you describe that knothole thing again? You're just saying that when you're
When you're
Uh,
carving, when you're cutting a piece of wood,
uh-huh.
it's particularly difficult to cut through a knot in a tree where a branch was.
Uh-huh.
Um, but you push, yeah, you hack on it, yeah, whatever, you get through, and then eventually it's just smooth wood on the other side. It's easy carving again.
So this is that's just like literally the same metaphors. It's a bump in the road. It's just it's a time where
Right.
we're okay. It's a time where it's hard, but you will get through it.
Right. You will get through it, and there is just on the other side is easy. I don't know, easy cutting again.
I don't care. I don't want to. I just had something I kind of wanted to talk about, and now I forgot. Maybe it was
Hmm.
spam musubi. Do you want to talk about spam musubi again? Because that's a good thing.
I don't have a whole lot to say about it, except that I tried to make it, and it didn't go as well as I had hoped. I
I
cut
have a
my pieces
musubi
of spam
maker.
too thick.
The what?
Too thick. I cut my
Mm.
pieces. Gosh, why is that so hard to say? I cut my pieces of spam too thick.
I cut my piece of spam too thick. I cut my piece of spam. I have a spam musubi maker that I bought at the ABC store.
And what does that look like? What does it do?
It's a little plastic thing, two parts that like you
Is
crush
it-
the. I think it just helps you form the rice,
I
and then
see.
like
It shapes
pack
it.
it in there, shapes it, and then you probably pop it out and wrap the seaweed in the nori and the put the spam on. There's some kind of sauce too. I don't know what it is, but maybe I'll try to make it as well. I don't know. Dang it, what was I going to talk about? I don't know, Andrew. Wedding plans still, as you know, same like that.
Yep,
It may
wedding is still
happen.
planned.
I have two weddings on the day because you guys changed your date and I had one that was originally on that date. What am I going to do about that?
You're just gonna have a hell of a day.
Well, yours is
Fortunately,
early.
ours is in the morning.
Yours is early, and I can't believe anybody else's would be. But theirs is not in town. It's up the mountains a little bit. And these are people I love you all. I love you all. I mean, this
We'll
is
give
like
you a hall pass to leave a little early if you have to.
I know you won't even care if I'm there. You kind of hope I'm not there because I might embarrass you. The truth is that.
You can't embarrass
Um,
me. You're not my mother.
I know, but you don't want me talking about anything I talk about there at your thing. We'll talk about this. I did do the Zoom show I mentioned, the comedy show. And actually, there's
Mm-hmm.
a meeting of women comics a couple of days from now, like a Zoom meeting to talk about from somebody I really, really admire. She's offered to have this conversation with Denver women comics, just because it's a smaller group, I guess. Um, about how to handle these. And I did approach the Zoom comedy show differently, and it was way better. And actually, that was enjoyable. And I felt the same feels I do after a real show. I did 22 minutes of comedy on Zoom from my bathroom, and I felt actually really good about it. I took like a
did
different
Did you
approach.
do it live from the bidet?
I did it live from. I did it so live. I mean, I did lots of my kind of familiar material. I did some new material, but my shtick. I just decided we talked about. I thought I needed something a little bit theatrical, a little bit shticky rather than just hi, I'm telling my jokes and there's no microphone here and I'm waiting for it to land. So my shtick was that while she was introducing me, I went, off the Zoom and I had been in one location and then I had it totally set up. It was a ruse. I had my camera attached on my mirror and my shtick was, oh shoot, sorry, I knew you were calling me up, but shoot, I just discovered a chin hair, you guys. Dang it. Let me just pluck this and then we'll go on. And so I pluck and like, do you understand? And then I have chin hair jokes, right? And I promise you, this was not there an hour
And
ago.
then I
Look at
have
my
chin
face.
hair
I do
jokes.
have chin hair jokes you've heard of. And so I started with the
I'm
chin
just
hair jokes. And I mean,
keeping track of titles.
yeah, sure. And I said, obviously I prepared for you. I've been watching drag queen YouTube makeup tutorials all day long to look at how much makeup I put on for you guys. I miss you. Um, so I did that, and then I did the thing like, oh shoot, look at my hair. God. Well, lucky for me. So my premise was I'm winning the apocalypse, as I said, and I cut my hair live right there on the video, on the Zoom video. I did what I actually do, which is I took my hair and I put it and I actually cut it, which I just decided like that's a kind of a known thing in the theater and in performing. If there is something like if there's real fire on stage, if there's a baby, if there's a dog, if there's something that's like real, it's always more exciting than fake. So actually cutting my hair with scissors felt like an event, so I did that. And then I said, oh, you guys, while I'm still in the bathroom, let me tell you, yeah, toilet paper wars, let me tell you about the bidet. And I did all the bidet material, but like right there with the remote control. And the woman comic from LA was right before me, she had actually said, thank God I heard it. She said, I'm never trusting anybody with a bidet. And she had done bidet jokes the opposite way, so it was perfect. I was like, Julie, let me sway you and all Americans, right? So I did the bidet material, and then I just stood in the bathroom and did the rest of my material about dating and everything else. And I think it went really well, and it was like there was just a little bit of theatrics. There was just a little bit more than I'm just sitting here telling you my jokes. There was a little bit of a shtick to it, and that helped. So that's interesting. I think it's getting better, and I'm more interested in doing more of that kind of content.
Did you operate the bidet while you were
No, you can't
while
really
you were
operate
zooming?
it. No, you can't really operate it without weight on the seat. Like when the handyman showed me, he leaned his like forearm on it and let it get hit with the water. You can't really, it won't operate just by pressing buttons unless there's a butt sitting on it or an equivalent. So no, I just held up the remote control.
Please keep your hands and feet inside the ride at all times.
Exactly right. It's high risk material. Golly, I just thought there was a topic discussed, but I sure can't remember it. Anyway, my garden is coming along well. I have a lot of lavender planted, basil, as I said, tomatoes.
What's the funniest thing you heard this week at your comedy show? Who had the best joke, and what'd they say?
I don't pay attention to other people's jokes. No, I'm kidding. Okay, it wasn't this week, and I don't think I've said it here, though it was last week, but one of our friends, Aaron, Mad Dog, Rufus Graham, he made the joke.
That's one person?
Uh-huh. That's his name on Facebook. I don't actually know how to introduce him on stage, but that's how I introduced him. But anyway, it doesn't matter. He wrote the joke. I love this joke. He said, you guys, when the toilet paper thing went down, when the toilet paper thing went down and we couldn't find toilet paper, he goes, I was worried for a minute, but then I realized I've got like 60 comedy joke books, old joke books, in my drawer. And that is such a perfect joke to tell comics because you can just keep thinking hard about that. And the natural conclusion is that's exactly what that paper is good for. Your 60 pages of old jokes. It's for wiping asses. That's a pretty funny joke.
That is pretty funny.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I heard a lot of funny jokes because I did have the comedy boys here. But, tears in rain, man. You forget them. I've been writing more material myself, so that's good. And I also went up to my friend Apple's, and we did a socially distancing, but like production meeting. He has a really, really, really cool idea, almost fully formed for a YouTube kind of show, like episodic show. And he asked for my input and kind of helped directing it. And so I had a 4-hour meeting, again, at a distance with a person where we're not touching and we're out of doors and shit.
You always say you're not touching. How much do you touch these people when you get together otherwise?
I don't know. I just
Hands
always
to yourself,
feel like
Mrs. Filholm.
Correct, dude. I don't. You have to say that because people are so fucking judgy. They go, "What do you mean you went and had a meeting with someone?" It's like, I'm not kidding. I have to say that we weren't touching. I don't normally. Well, no, I would normally hug these people when I see them. Right, there you go. I would hug them.
No more hugging, ever. Nope. That shouldn't have been happening pre-quarantine.
It's really the world that you've been preparing for your whole life, Mr. Bridges, where we have to keep distance from each other and there's no touching. It's really your dream come true, isn't it, in a way?
People are like cars. They should not touch.
People are like cars. They shouldn't touch, and when they touch, it's an accident and it's an emergency. So I guess I mean that. But my point is I went up and did a 4-hour meeting with somebody where, I mean, that's good stuff. You're making something together, We've missed it. I've missed it. Still not sure what's next for any of it. And I'm right to not, like we've just described. We don't know what's next. I've been listening. Oh, it doesn't matter. I mean, I listened to the same amount of I don't want to be uninformed, but I don't know. Andrew, it doesn't still feel like there's great news, does it? You're busy. You're busy. I mean, you're busy. That's good. You and Delaney are busy. Your apartment is rented. I mean, honestly, that's good stuff. It is a bifurcated world that there are still people who are so over busy. And then there are the rest of us going, That's a weird thing, isn't it? I did have an urgent voiceover job yesterday, though.
An urgent voiceover job? What were you recording? Some kind of corporate communications in these unprecedented times kind of recording?
Well, what's funny is that most of the auditions that come in for VO are those exact things. And the problem is I'm not getting a lot of work because, as we've discussed, it's funny, like within an hour of something going up, a posting for a job, an audition, I mean, it's like maxed out and double, like if they want 20 proposals, there's 40 within an hour. Every voiceover artist in America has this idea. But I mean, I get some piecemeal jobs here and there. It's still probably worth it. There have been a lot of those. And so, you submit an audition, a custom audition, and they're like, the scripts are like for returning to work. And it's like a voiceover for probably an explainer video, right? Where it's going to be like, you will receive your staggered entrance time. Please arrive in the lobby and bleep, bleep, bleep. Really, like there's a lot of videos like you just described. These are corporate responses to COVID. No, this was one actually just funny. It was a spot for a client that I do a lot of work for, but they also use other voices. And so it's a spot that I did not originally do. It's a 2-minute explainer kind of video, kind of a promotional video, and they needed to change a line because it's an insurance company. They needed to change a line for compliance, and they couldn't get in touch with the original voiceover artist to just change a line. And there was some kind of crazy deadline. I have no idea why or how it went down. I don't care. There was this call when I was out on a walk, like, can you record tonight? And we're because your voice is similar to hers, but it's not a direct match. I can't just go and pop in 2019 over 2018 or whatever their differences were. So I recorded the whole thing and whatever, it's a little money and it's just funny to have. Oh my God, that was actually a little bit stressful because I said, yeah, absolutely, I'll do it. And I mean, there was a definite, like, can you do it tonight? I should have confirmed what's the drop dead, do you need it by midnight or do you need it by 8 o'clock or whatever? Because I was feeling that pressure. It's exciting. Boy, it ups the danger factor. It's like having fire under my feet to do a voice. I'm kidding. Right there at about 5:30 at night on Shakedown Street in Denver, Colorado. This is probably true everywhere. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, is that when everybody's mowing and frickin' jackhammering and sawing, and I have no idea what all was going on. And then there would be the subwoofer because there's probably more traffic. People actually are going home from work at that time, right? Oh my God. And I was just sitting here. This studio is sound resistant, but it's certainly not soundproof, as we know. And I'm used to like waiting for an airplane to go past or whatever. And last night it was like, oh my God, is everybody mowing right now? Holy cow. So that was frustrating, but all fine and good and dandy. And I rocked it, Andrew. Which is funny because if you hear my voice right now, it's funny that I could do voiceover ever, isn't it? That's got bugs in my house now at night because it's summer. So I've been mitigating that.
How are you keeping the bugs out?
I got to go get new weather stripping because I honestly think they're coming through my sort of screen doors. And I sprayed. I did a little spraying, Andrew. We're just murdering animals in my neighborhood. Don't judge me.
Murdering animals in my neighborhood.
I sprayed for
It really is. I used the genocide word once before. It's all out war on rodents, pests.
Hell yeah. Pests. Pests of all kind. And you know what? Some of those pests come in the form of human men. And we're expelling them too. Yuck. Gross. People are so mean. Anyway. I don't know, man. I am going to paddleboard today, tomorrow, possibly Saturday. Well, I think I'm going to avoid the
hot.
weekends.
It's been perfect weather to go jump in a lake.
Andrew, it's so good. Like, you want to reset, jump in some cold water, right? Like and even the most cynical comics or people you would think like wouldn't. It's interesting. You get one of those guys out there, just like 5 minutes on the water, and they go, oh wow, oh yeah, oh wow, this is great. Holy shit, I'm relaxed. Wow, yeah, and it's just a little mud puddle in Aurora, Colorado. We're not on the ocean. Oh, my mom said to me yesterday that she had read that if you go to Hawaii now, you have to stay for 2 weeks, and she said that like there was something wrong with it.
You're probably stuck in a hotel for 2 weeks before you're allowed to leave the hotel.
I don't think hotels are open.
I think hotels are open. Yeah, I saw a kind of an internet personality I follow on Twitter. He was going to do a cross-country road trip because he had to get to his mother or something and didn't want to fly because planes are still flying. And he was concerned about the hotel-motel situation for a road trip. And a whole bunch of people chimed in saying that they'd been driving and staying in hotels. I think most places are open with some kind of skeleton crew.
Interesting. Yeah, I guess I just assume things that I don't know about. But anyway. Oh, the other thing, update, so not only am I super tan, and feeling kind of fit. But, tan in a weird way because it's from working in the garden and paddleboarding. It's not like I'm the lady who tans. I have weird tan lines and like my sides, my ribs are not tanned at all because my arms, it's funny. Also super bruised up, lots of cuts and bruises. I mean, I'm just really a delight to look at because I've been doing shit. I've been fighting with my raspberry bushes and, building stuff, making it happen. I don't know. Paddleboarding, I guess, is what I'm saying. Is what I'm looking forward to.
That's that. As far as things to look forward to go, that's a pretty good one.
Yeah, you guys should come.
I'd love to. I'd love to. I just need. I know this is a long weekend. We've got Memorial Day coming up. Hopefully, that means that I can take some time off and just have a day.
I know you guys need vacation. I need the opposite. I have had so much damn vacation that I can't stand it. I was going to tell you, and we can tell our listener. I mean, we can say this because we have such a nobody cares. Luckily, there's going to be a run on crowding at Quincy Reservoir. Hey.
What is Quincy Reservoir?
It is past the Cherry Creek. It is tiny compared to Cherry Creek, which is not a big, lake anyway. Here's the thing. It's like a little neighborhood lake. There are trees around it, so it's very pretty. It's prettier to me than that big damn wall. It's prettier. Remember how ugly Aurora Reservoir was?
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty. It's really, it has been less crowded, and it's not a state park, so normally you'd have to pay a day fee or get a pass. But also, I realize I have my store your board cart that I, the carrier where I can push the two boards at once. At this place, I realize there is a boat ramp that I can just go straight down. I don't even need it. I mean, I can just go boom. So easy access, easy put in, pretty nice water. Cold enough, it's real cold in the middle, and then there's shallow. There's like kids, fish. It's tiny, but it is so much easier, and no motorboats. No jet skis. So, because it's small. So there are like fishing boats and people out there on floaties and like, little kids on the beaches. I expect it's pretty busy on the weekends, although we went last week, Sunday at 4:30 or something, and it was totally great. Earlier in the day, I think it had been quite crowded. But anyway, it's this little reservoir, and I'm telling you, it is just a delight and so much easier to deal with, and the put-in is easy. There's like no facilities. I don't know if there's probably an outhouse. There's not a yacht club like there is at Cherry Creek Reservoir. I love it. It's my new kind of go-to because I know it is so easy.
The yacht club at Cherry Creek Reservoir. There's a joke.
I mean, Yeah, no shit. No kidding. But you know what I mean? I want to hit some mountain lakes because Evergreen's pretty fun, except you're not supposed to swim in it. Oops, I fell in. I would like to go to Dillon and Grand Lake this summer, but I mean, I'm tempted to just pick up and do it. Like, why not? But I don't know the ease of it, and I don't know how it would go. And when you're involving other people, I just want it to kind of go smoothly, unless you got somebody with you who's up for a possible misadventure. Anyway, Quincy Reservoir has been scratching me right where I itch lately. The rangers are really nice. Anyway, there it seems peaceful. I think I'm going there this afternoon. I'm a lucky girl.
Well, there you go. There you go, Mrs. Filholm. It sounds like, well, you got a lot of different things going on between your paddleboarding and your squirrel genocide. Even though you've got more time than you can handle, it seems like you're putting it to good use.
Seems like it, Andrew. And back to the thing of like where we began, like the pit in my stomach when I don't have something to do. It's just funny how we can manufacture for ourselves, or how I can, a little bit of anxiety or procrastination, even when there's too little to do, right? It's like, oh, I got to make that phone call. So make the phone call. It's almost like, do I enjoy that game with myself? It's a funny thing. It's an interesting thing to look at. And I feel like I can look at it with new eyes because now I'm well nourished because I'm eating food again. Hey.
Sure. I think about a anxiety quota all the time. I think I'm meant to have a certain amount of anxiety. It could be low-level procrastination stuff. It could be, I don't know, just whatever. But I think that my body craves some sort of anxiety, so I often make anxiety up where there isn't any or shouldn't be any.
Sing it, sister. Okay, that's interesting, Andrew, because I wouldn't think I would ever hear those words out of your mouth. That sounds like my brand of cuckoo brains. But you're right. I think it's human. Isn't that funny? Well, that's why I'm having Reiki again this weekend, because that is not the Buddhist way. I mean, that is not like you're right. We manufacture anxiety. Isn't that funny? Well, I would like to look at that this week. I'm going to look at that, Andrew. And also choosing joy and having nice friends who bring us Hawaiian food. I got a lot to be thankful for.
I'm going to look into that
No
this
doubt
weekend.
I
could go for some musubi today.
Right? Oh my God, I have another one in my fridge. It's going to be my lunch. I'm fattening up. And it was really fun. Also, it was really, you know what else? Again, I've said this before, and we can end on this. It is so interesting to me how much I'm enjoying my mom. I had lunch. I took that lunch up to her yesterday, and we had a really fun time. It was cute. So good things are happening too, but still crazy. It's a mad, 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 mad world. Always has been.
Of course. Hey, quick question before you go. How many musubi are in an order?
I think just one.
Seriously? You gotta buy them individually?
How much does it say it costs on that menu? You looking at it?
Also,
I have. What menu are you looking at? Because I might have a secret link for you.
Oh, send me a secret link.
Well, what are you looking at? L&L.
I'm looking at HawaiianBarbecue.com/food.
Yeah, is it like a general menu? Like, does it say
/menu?
It says what?
It's HawaiianBarbecue.com/menu.
And are you looking at? Does it say like local favorites?
Mm-mm.
Oh, it doesn't.
Nope.
What does it say?
It's it does. It says local faves.
Okay, so
it's barbecue chicken, beef bowl, barbecue cheeseburger.
Yeah. There's no prices, right?
Right.
Okay, hold on. There is a better way. I will send you the link.
There's got to be a
There's
better way.
a better way, Andrew, and I've figured it out. This is how much I've put into this in the past week. It's like, no, what you're looking at, Andrew, that's crap. Get rid of that. I'm going to tell you, there is a thing where you can actually see an itemized, because that one, if you look at it, that menu on HawaiianBarbecue.com is sort of global. It's for all of them. Okay, here's L&L Hawaii, the one right near you. Okay, I'm going to have to do some digging because I can't remember exactly how I found it. But here, wait. Hawaii's favorite snack, musubi. It doesn't tell you. I'm pretty sure it's one order, and they also have Portuguese sausage musubi. So if you want that kind good. I'll send you the link here if I find it. Maybe it's on Open Menu. I think Open Menu. I'm not sure that's the whole damn. Oh, I think I also have a printed menu that I'll get you the link. Check it out.
I'll just go there.
Just go there in person. And the other thing is, the very first time that I was ordering for myself and Lily, I thought I would call in. I haven't done that. I haven't done takeout in the apocalypse, except for when Lily and I went to Growler, where I do my Friday night show, and we popped in and talked to the owner. I haven't done takeout, so I just assumed I could call and place my order. No, they didn't answer the phone, so you have to go in person. And by the way, at noon on like a Wednesday here in the end times, that thing had a line out the door.
Oh, that's a good sign.
Such a good sign. My mom was saying that, like, who eats this? It's just really good food, and who knows other people that have, like, Polynesian affinity, but, man, it's good stuff. All right, I'll send you the link. I hope you enjoy some Moco Loco and some Spam Musubi this weekend, because that would be like a mini vacation for the two of you. She will like the Haupia pudding.
Haupia pudding. Mm-hmm. I'll put it on my list. How do you even spell that?
How, H-A-U, Pia, P-I-A. And I mean, there's a lot of meat, is what I'm saying. And Delaney's vegetarian, but she also likes sweet things, and they do have some little dessert. They have spam saimin, Andrew. They have Kahlua pork with like ramen. Oh, it's the kind of thing, like when I go to Maui, I have to eat saimin from McDonald's and Spam musubi from the gas station. It's just like, don't judge me. These are the street foods of my child. Kahlua pork with cabbage. I recommend that so highly. All right, Mr. Bridges, thanks for the talk. You're always an uplifting person because you believe in love.
Well, thank you, Mrs. Filholm.
Have a good
week.
Goodbye.
You too.